Creepy Chernobyl stories, mutants and paranormal phenomena. Today, we're delving into one of the most haunting and mysterious places on Earth, Chernobyl. From tales of mutant creatures roaming the abandoned streets to ghostly apparitions that defy explanation, Chernobyl is a hotspot for the strange and unexplained. So grab your favorite snack, dim the lights, and let's dive deep into some of the creepiest stories that have emerged from this infamous site. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. The Chernobyl disaster, a brief recap. On April 26, 1986, a routine safety test at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine went catastrophically wrong. Due to a combination of flawed reactor design and critical operator errors, reactor number 4 exploded. The blast released massive amounts of radioactive material into the atmosphere. The nearby city of Pripyat was blissfully unaware of the danger at first. It wasn't until hours later that the evacuation order was given. Imagine packing up your life in a hurry, leaving everything behind, and thinking you'd be back soon, only to never return. The Soviet government established a 30-kilometer exclusion zone around the plant, an area that's still largely uninhabited today. The haunting silence of Pripyat. Fast forward to today, and Pripyat is like a snapshot frozen in time. The empty apartment blocks stand like silent sentinels, and nature has reclaimed the streets and buildings. Visitors often describe an overwhelming sense of stillness, a haunting silence that's unlike anywhere else on Earth. Journalists and explorers have reported hearing distant whispers and children's laughter echoing through the empty schools. Is it just the wind playing tricks, or could there be something more lingering in the shadows? The eerie atmosphere contributes significantly to the legends and ghost stories of the area. Mutations in nature, fact versus fiction. One of the most talked about aspects of Chernobyl is how nature has responded to the radiation. In the infamous Red Forest, pine trees turned a rusty red color after absorbing lethal levels of radiation. So, are there really mutants out there? Scientists have observed some strange mutations in both plants and animals. Trees with twisted trunks, and birds with unusual beak shapes or coloration have all been documented. Most mutations are subtle and represent nature adapting to harsh conditions. Legends of mutant creatures. Locals and workers have spun tales of mutant creatures roaming the exclusion zone. One story is about the giant catfish in the cooling ponds, said to have grown to monstrous sizes due to the radiation. There are also tales of packs of wolves larger than normal, exhibiting abnormal aggression. Fishermen and hunters have shared accounts of encounters with animals that don't quite fit the norm. While skeptics brush these off as exaggerations, the legends persist and add another layer of mystery to Chernobyl. The Black Bird of Chernobyl. Described as a large, dark figure with huge wings and piercing red eyes, the black bird reportedly resembles a humanoid bird-like creature. Several workers and residents claim to have seen this ominous entity in the days leading up to the disaster. Those who encountered it supposedly experienced terrifying nightmares and felt an overwhelming sense of dread. It's eerily similar to the Mothman legend from Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Paranormal encounters in the exclusion zone. For those who dare to venture into the exclusion zone, many have reported unexplainable phenomena, such as shadows darting between trees. One particularly chilling account comes from a group of scientists who claim to hear distant singing coming from an old hospital. EVP recordings have captured faint voices, some in Russian, others in Ukrainian. Are these the souls of those who suffered tragic fates, or is the mind playing tricks in a setting ripe for hauntings? The mysterious hum of Chernobyl. Some visitors report hearing a low-frequency hum or feeling a vibration that seems to emanate from the ground itself. This hum is often described as unsettling, causing feelings of anxiety or unease. Scientists have proposed explanations like wind resonating through the decaying structures, but others believe it could be linked to paranormal activity or residual energy from the disaster itself. The phantom firefighters. On the night of the disaster, brave firefighters rushed to the scene, many of whom later succumbed to acute radiation sickness. There are reports of ghostly figures dressed in outdated firefighting gear appearing near Reactor 4. Witnesses say these apparitions seem to be carrying out their duties, oblivious to the present day. It's as if they're stuck in time, replaying the events of that tragic night. Time slips and dimensional anomalies. Some people who've been to Chernobyl report experiencing time slips, moments where time seems to distort, hours pass in what feels like minutes. Others have felt disoriented, claiming that the environment around them suddenly changed. Is the exclusion zone a hotspot for glitches in reality, perhaps due to the intense energy released during the disaster? It's fascinating and a bit unnerving to ponder. Chernobyl's secret experiments. There's speculation that, prior to the disaster, secret experiments were being conducted at the plant. Some theories suggest that scientists were working on advanced weaponry. Others go so far as to say that the disaster was a cover-up for an experiment that went horribly wrong. A few declassified documents have fueled the rumors, adding to the mystique surrounding Chernobyl. The impact of isolation and decay. The isolation, the decay of once thriving communities, and the overgrowth of nature can play significant tricks on the mind. Psychologists suggest that in such settings, our senses can become hyper-aware. The power of suggestion is strong, especially when you're on edge in a place known for its tragic history. It's a recipe for ghost stories and unexplained phenomena. Chernobyl in media and culture. Chernobyl has captured the imagination of artists, writers, and game developers alike. The HBO miniseries, Chernobyl, brought renewed interest to the disaster, highlighting not just the events but also the human stories behind it. Video games like Stalker and Metro 2033 immerse players in post-apocalyptic worlds inspired by Chernobyl. These portrayals feed into the myths and legends, ensuring that Chernobyl remains a topic of fascination. Scientific perspectives on the paranormal claims. Many experts argue that the so-called paranormal experiences can be explained by natural phenomena. Radiation can affect electronic equipment, causing malfunctions that seem unexplainable. Infrasound, low-frequency sound waves that humans can't consciously hear, can induce feelings of fear. Wildlife has returned to the area in abundance, and their behaviors might seem unusual simply because we don't typically observe them in such environments. Ethical considerations and respecting the past. Thousands of people were affected, with many losing their lives or suffering long-term health issues. When we explore these tales, we should do so with respect and sensitivity. It's about finding a balance between satisfying our curiosity and honoring the memory of those who were impacted. By doing so, we ensure that the stories of Chernobyl serve as a reminder for future generations. Creepy Chernobyl stories. Conclusion. Why does Chernobyl continue to fascinate us? Perhaps it's the combination of human error on a massive scale and nature's resilience in the face of disaster. Whether you're a believer in the paranormal or a staunch skeptic, there's no denying that Chernobyl is a place that stirs the imagination and evokes deep emotions. I'd love to hear what you think. Do you believe in any of these stories, or do you have your own theories? Drop a comment below and let's get the conversation started.